today with Charlene Monique. She is a singer, songwriter, all-round creative, blogger, dancer, and everything in one. You've got a brand new single coming out, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. What's it called?
It's called You. This single is really close to my heart because it's my first single, but it's most importantly, it's for the ladies and maybe for some men, but it's all about loving who you are. And it's definitely a message for anyone who's dealt with not loving themselves, whether it's beauty or not understanding that you carry greatness. It's really about somebody finding their voice, finding their purpose, but understanding that, you know, knowing that you're great is so much more than just how you look on the outside. It's knowing that you've got great stuff on the inside. So yeah, I'm really passionate about the song.
Wow, and because it's kind of about self-esteem really, isn't it? And about how we feel about ourselves. So for you, what would you say self-esteem is?
Okay, self-esteem for me is the view of oneself. So you can either have a positive image of yourself or a negative one. And depending on which one of those that you have will affect how you interact through your life with different people.
Yeah, because that's the thing, I think so often we throw around these words like self-esteem and body image and stuff like that, but we don't necessarily know what it means. Like we don't understand if we've got low self-esteem or high self-esteem, or I don't know, how would you kind of describe somebody that's got high self-esteem or maybe low self-esteem, whatever's easiest to describe?
Okay, I will use myself as an example. I know that when I struggled, I literally would compare myself to other people, especially my body. It was really, really quite a bad situation. So if you have low self-esteem, that's just one example. You're literally comparing that person either sings better than me or dances better than me, or you know, you don't see that what you've got is actually great, but you constantly compare yourself to other people. That's just one example of somebody who may potentially have low self-esteem. And can I say the high one as well?
Yeah.
High self-esteem would just be, I just think it's really important, because I think somebody who's got confidence and humility is the most beautiful, you know, combination. And I think having confidence is just knowing that you're great and you're trying to be the best person you can be. You're not comparing yourself to Emma or Charlene. You actually see that Emma's great and you see that you're great. So that is having high self-esteem. It's seeing the value in yourself and knowing that actually what I've got in my hand is worth a lot, and it's something great to offer.
Yeah, and that's so true as well, what you mentioned about having confidence, because I think often as girls and women we're kind of told be confident but not too confident.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you don't really know how to embrace yourself, because you think if you're saying like, oh, I'm really pretty or whatever, that then people look at you like, oh, well, why are you saying that about yourself, kind of thing. It's so hard.
My advice for somebody who's kind of like is no, for me, I can actually say, because I know there was a time when I didn't feel beautiful, I know that I'm beautiful and I know that I'm talented, but I know what it's for. You know, when you actually know what you carry, when you know what you carry, you know how you can release it and give it away to the world. But I think the key of the confidence and the humility thing is knowing that you're great, but it's not trying to be better than anybody else, and knowing that actually, for me personally, what I've got is to help people draw closer to God, is to help people to feel great about themselves. So God's given me this, but it's not just for me to sit and say, I'm the best. No, it's for me to give it away to somebody else.
That's so good. Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about your own kind of personal story, like you used yourself as an example with low self-esteem. So has there ever been kind of a period in your life where you would say that you struggled with issues of self-esteem?
Yeah, it's funny because the video that we've got coming out, which was written by my beautiful friend Carla Williams, it kind of depicts a bit of my story, which is funny because I never told her about it. But when I was little, I just really struggled with my body image from about the age of 13 well into my early 20s, to the point that, you know, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I post a lot about me and my husband. I literally used to think when he sees me, he's going to be like, what have I done? And it's like we just believe these lies and they become real kind of strongholds in our lives. And for me, getting out of that has just been wonderful. And I got out of it through God, understanding that I'm great, and also really looking after myself, going to the gym, doing things for me. It took a long process. It wasn't an overnight thing. It took really training my mind, stop focusing on the negative thoughts. I would literally sit and think about myself negatively for so long. And we hear on social media a lot about positive thinking, and it almost sometimes we hear it so much that it kind of goes over our heads. But I can tell you, as a man thinks, so he will be. You can think yourself out of negative thoughts into happiness, and that is literally what I did. Every day when the negative thoughts would come, I would just literally not accept them and just think positive, even when I didn't believe it, even when I didn't like the certain things on my leg. And when I look back now, it was so stupid. I have a birthmark on my leg that it's massive, and to me it was just like the ugliest thing. I won't tell you all the different things, but when I look back now, I feel silly because I just believed a lie for years, but not anymore.
Good. That's so good. And I think as well, like, we can accept the fact that we all have little things about ourselves that maybe we would change or not change.
Still have those.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't necessarily mean that you have low self-esteem if you think like, oh, I don't know, like I always am like, oh my gosh, I've got such big cheeks. And I'm like, do you know what it is though? It's because when I was little, my friend's mum used to come up to me and go, oh, Emma, you're so cute. And I swear she like pulled my cheeks bigger than what they are right now. But like little things about yourself, like I think we don't want to get too caught up in thinking like just because we have one thing about ourselves that we're like, oh, I don't really like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you then have to be defined as someone that's got low self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because as well, like self-esteem can go up and down throughout life. It's not like you're born with low self-esteem and you're just going to always have low self-esteem. It doesn't have to be something that you identify yourself as, but it's just something that we should talk about, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we should talk about and understand, you know, when you find yourself, my thoughts are a little bit, you can manage it. If you don't know that it's there, or if you don't know what the symptoms are, then how can you deal with it? And I do agree. If I think of, I haven't had a kid yet, and I've heard people say, oh, when I had my kid, you know, I may go through something similar when I have a children. I have no idea, but I know that I'm a lot stronger here and in here to deal with it, and I think that's important. So I completely agree with you.
Definitely. And obviously you said like your story, your example was of that when you were younger you struggled with issues of maybe self-esteem, and maybe even to now as well, but what would you tell your 14-year-old Charlene?
I would literally, I actually have a blog post I did about this. I would just literally say that you're okay. I can remember being 14 and just feeling so and all these stupid thoughts were in my head, but I would just be like, you have so much time. When you're older, you're going to be quite fly actually. You might not be the coolest one right now, you might not wear Reeboks right now, but actually when you're older you're going to have Puma, Nike, you're going to have all that. To be fair though, my parents did buy that stuff for me, but I don't think I was necessarily the cool one. And sometimes we just, as young people, we just don't feel like we're the cool one. When I was in school, I didn't have the silkiest hair, and even that is an issue, like for black people with their hair, the natural hair movement, all of that stuff. It's like, does she have nice hair or kinky hair? And I struggled with all of that. I would literally just say, Shasha, you're so fine and you've got so much time to grow. Because when you're young, you just don't look at it that way. So for any of the young people watching, you're so fine. You're going to blossom, you're going to grow.
And there's been a lot of stuff said recently about how social media can affect our mental health and how social media can make us feel worse about ourselves. And I guess that probably is true to an extent, because we're constantly scrolling through pictures and pictures of people that look perfect or have these perfect lives. So how do you think we can use social media so we can still enjoy it and still use it, but just not necessarily be negatively affected by it?
It's for us to kind of encourage our young people and just people in general. Social media is wonderful, but just know when to switch it off. Because if you literally are looking through this makeup person and you're just literally bombarded daily, and that's how it is with social media, with all of these images. It's actually trying to get some self-control to actually switch off. I honestly don't see any other way other than sometimes switch off and just recharge and switch off the noise, because even though it seems like it's silent, it's actually noise in your head, and it affects it can affect you comparing yourself to what you see on that image to how you look, when actually you look perfectly fine. And a load of the image that you're seeing, people are just completely contoured to the hilt, there's loads of makeup. And you know, I'm not against any of that, I just think it has to be in moderation. So that would be, my advice would just be, if you can, find a way to find balance.
Balance, that's good. And then for you personally in your life, has there been a Bible verse that's like your favourite one that kind of encourages you, or?
Yes, Psalms 91. I love that scripture so much. It talks about, you know, I really would advise you, it really helped me when I was going through my stuff. I would literally read that that chapter all the time, and it talks about how God saw you when you were in your mother's womb. He knitted you together. His thoughts for you outnumber the sand. And when I would sit and think, wow, like, that's how much he thinks about me. There's a lot of sand around the world. And his thoughts for me outnumber them. That's how much value he places on my greatness. It just talks about how we're wonderfully made and how beautiful the Lord thinks we are. That is probably one of my all-time favourite scriptures and chapters in the Bible. Psalms 91.
Such a good one. You should sing it for us. You should sing Psalm 91. Maybe that could be single number 2.
I didn't know it off by heart.
You need to learn. It could be your memory verse as your homework for this week.
I am beautifully and wonderfully made.
Oh, that's so good. So then, finally, where can we get your new single? When will it be available?
Okay, so the single's out in June, and you can get it from iTunes, all of the usual, Spotify, it'll be on all of those platforms, and also my video will be out in June. Keep an eye out on my social media, Charlie Monique, Instagram, Facebook, Charlie Monique, Twitter, Charlie Monique, all of it will be there and updates will be there, so
yeah, and we'll put links below as well, below this video, so if you just check down there for everything, all the good stuff. We're gonna go now, but this has been great. Thank you so much, Charlene. Bye! Girl Got Faith is the teen girl's guide to faith, beauty and lifestyle. If you haven't heard of us before, then check it out below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.